but I'm taking this from a writer's perspective. This is an actor and a writer's dream to like write a character like this. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. You're watching Watch This, where I discuss film, television series reviews, and also screenwriting tips for beginning writers. So this is the second episode recap for Amazon's Swarm. So if you want to know my opinion, my views on Swarm, stay tuned. So open up, we immediately see a gentleman in his truck. It almost looks like maybe it's like rush hour, probably like everyone's coming home from work. You can kind of see we're outside a strip club and like there's like cars driving by. Also, we see that it is currently 2017 and we are in Tennessee. So those are just like a few settings that we have for this episode. So we're in Tennessee, we're outside of a strip club, and this gentleman, it looks like he is getting ready to have a good time. He is getting a little shot, he counting his little dollars and then he also gargles with some mouthwash. So he has in, but before he has in, he sees a dancer. She's exiting out the club and he like, baby girl, the night just begun. She like, nigga, I'm off the clock. So he proceeds inside of the club and I knew who this person was before he started to really like talk, or the camera like kind of like zoned in on his face, because the angles that we got were like from behind and on the side, so we didn't really get a full shot of his face. But I knew who this person was because he played on one of my favorite TV series. But he goes in and immediately he talks to the bartender, who I guess also is like puts his order in for food. He like, I want the breakfast special with black coffee. So he put his order in. You could tell he's probably kind of a regular at the strip club. And immediately I was like, that's Poop from The Wire. So if you ever watched The Wire, he played the character Poop off of The Wire. So in the club, there's like a slow, sexy song playing. And of course, we see who's dancing to this song, and we see that it is Dre. Dre is now a stripper, and she is doing some type of contemporary dance art performance on the it was just so awkward and weird. Like, as Dre is always, she's like really doing this performance art. It looks like she probably took some dance moves from Naja's festival song. Like, it just looks so awkward. And the gentleman that plays Poop, we don't know his name, he actually was like stunned, like just like mesmerized by her. He sits down and she makes eye contact with him. He like, oh, let me get my money out. And he doesn't throw it at her. He like places it on the floor, and she walks over to him in her most awkward way and says, where's your friend? And he's like, you gotta be more, I don't have a lot of friends. She's like, the one with the Titan head. So he was like, oh, you talking about, oh no, she actually said Reggie. And he was like, oh, you talking about Tonk? He was like, I don't know, he had to go to Philly. So after he said that, he's like, Tonk ain't the only one that can take care of you, baby girl. Even though he had like $8 singles in his hand, it was just too much. So he like, don't miss your blessing. But before she walks off, she grabs, it looks like his eggs, and just like scrambles it in her mouth. And I'm just like, and then walks off the stage. Just so awkward. So she goes to the back after she performed, And in true stripper mode fashion, you have a OG come up and she's like, yo, Carmen, like you can't. We find out also that Dre's alias name here is Carmen. So she like, yo, you can't be doing this sad music stuff. Like you can't be doing that. Like our job is to like make guys have a good time. We supposed to make guys rise, not have them leaving out scratching their head or whatever. So we found out her name is Cheeks, and she like, another stripper is like, Cheeks, let her be, leave her alone. She like, no, like I'm trying to come to you as an OG. Like, listen, they gonna fire you if you keep doing this, and you can make more money at McDonald's if you want to do stuff like this. Like wisen up. So she's like just staring around, and it sounded like they was talking about her. I think they said she looked like, I forgot what they said she looked like, but I was cracking up. But then we see another girl who walks up to her and she's like, I liked your dance. So it looks like she kind of like, Dre got like a little, she perked up when she saw that. So as they exiting out the club, Dre's exiting out. It's morning time now, and we can see that the girl who complimented Dre is outside of a truck, and she's like cussing. It looks like, we can't see her boyfriend, but she's cussing her boyfriend out. He won't let her in the truck. It's just a very toxic relationship. She's on the car, she cussing him out, and Dre is just going about her business. She sees it, but she don't pay it no mind. So she drives back to where she lives, which is in a motel. And I noticed on her plates it said Arkansas. So I believe when we first started the first episode, it was 2015. So this is like 2 years later, and it seems like she has been wandering to get to where we are now. So she probably did like a road trip. So she lived in Houston. From Houston to Arkansas, I want to say that's probably like a couple of hours, because that's not too far. You could drive there. And then from Arkansas, I'm sure she was able to drive to Tennessee. So it looks like she's been like traveling state to state just to get to this place. So we go inside of her place in this motel, and it is disgusting. Like, it's food everywhere. It's just, it looks crazy. Like, you could tell she's probably still kind of grieving, because even when she was living with Marissa, she was never like this disorientated when it came to her room. Her room always looked, at least the times that we were at her apartment with Marissa, she seemed like a very neat, clean woman. So it seems like she's probably still grieving, and she's on a mission. And we find out she's in front of her laptop, and she has made like a vision board on a word document, and it has a picture of a guy who actually tweeted something really crazy about Marissa and Naja. So he was the guy that said she deserved what she got for unaliving herself that night when she did that. So we also learned that he said that if Naja died today or tomorrow, he wouldn't miss her, or something like that, or something. He said something crazy about Naja. So for this, Dre has this whole vision board. She got a picture of him. She got a picture of him and his son. She has like tweets, the negative tweets that he had. She also has like a map of like where he usually be, and we can see he says his second home is the strip club that she works at. So it looks like Dre is only here to be in connection to the guy, which is Reggie, aka Tonk. And we already know why we already know why she wants to get into connection with Tonk, because she wants to unalive him, clearly. But the fact that she is going all this way, like she's willing to go undercover to do this, it's just like, girl, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. So she's doing this, she's making her vision board, she's like getting all more details up on this Word document, and we hear a knock at the door. It's actually the girl from the club that complimented Dre, aka Carmen. So she's like, I know you in here. She's like, did you follow me? Dre's like, did you follow me? She's like, no, well, I remember one time you told Barry that, you know, you live real close by the club, and I saw your car out here, so can you let me in? So she's like, what is going on? And I also noticed that every time something crazy is about to happen, there's a certain background tone of like bees swarming, and then also there's like a certain soundtrack to when things are going to shift. So she lets her in, and the girl is really hyped. She's like, oh, I always wanted to see what it looked like in here. And then she's like, can I use the bathroom? Like, I drank way too much before dancing or whatever like that. So she lets her in, but she drops her bag like she's at home, which that was already kind of foreshadowing the fact that this girl is trying to find a way to come into Dre's personal space. Cause yeah, she's trying to come into a way of her personal space. So she lets her in. She's like talking it up. She's like being like very warm. She's like being like almost as if they are girlfriends. She's like, oh, do you have a tampon? She's like, no, I got napkins. So she's like, look, I got some stuff to do. Dre like, I got stuff to do. She's like, oh, well, I'm starving. You want something to eat? And then Dre is like looking around, and you can also see that Dre, I think this is the first time that Dre realized like how she's living, because you could kind of see that she started to get a little self-conscious when the person who was here, which we have not found out her name yet, but once she comes in, she starts to like look around and realize like it looks a mess in here. So she started to realize like she was in a zone, but now she's coming to reality like, okay, it looks a mess in here, and also I am hungry, so I'm gonna take her up on this offer. So they go to a diner, they're eating, and she's like, the other girls are jealous of you, that's why they said that stuff or whatever like that. She was like, you should let me teach you how to do some pole tricks, pole work, because I make the most at the club, and like I make the most for a reason. She's like, oh no, this is just temporary. She was like she liked that. She was like, okay, manifest that shit then or whatever. She was like, yeah. Then it transitions because we notice that this is not just any actor. This is actually Paris Jackson. So the young lady that's playing this character is actually Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's daughter. And she says people are jealous, they're just like me. She was like, she said something like, oh, like I had to, basically she says like, yeah, they're jealous too. And then she says something about, yeah, like I feel like we both get it because we're both, she said something in the means of letting us know that she was black. So Dre is like, you black? And she's like, yeah, my dad is half. And she was like, half what? She's like, half black. And the irony is like, you can't take this show seriously. I feel like even the fact that she did this role and she said that, it's like this show is just supposed to be like fun. I would not be surprised if Beyonce already knew about this show, because of course it's heavily inspired by her life, and it's just like not to be taken seriously. Also, everybody that was mad at Chloe for doing that sex scene, like, I will say a lot of these shows and movies, they do go overboard with sex scenes, but honestly, I like for people to be mad at her playing a character it's just weird. I don't know, like, it's very weird, and I just need for people to just take this as art and entertainment. It's just weird. I wouldn't even take this as representation either. Like, this is just a fun show that's loony, like that's like all over the place, and we're playing with characters, we're playing with different topics of stand-up. Like, I just don't take it seriously. I don't know, people, this era is weird. Anyway, like, she gets a text from her boyfriend. She does a voice record, a voice message, sends it to him like, oh, now you here. And then 5 seconds later, she says, okay, I have to go because my man wants me to bring him some food, and he wants it like now. And this is where I already can see, like, we also learned that her name is Halsey. So Halsey is a musician. I don't really listen to Halsey, but Halsey is half black, and that's how we found out that she was half black. She says, Dre is like, she's not better than Naja. She was like, oh, you're a killer bee, that's so decent, or whatever like that. You say something bad about Naja, you get stung. So it also seemed like Halsey is not all the way there either. Like, it's just like she's very toxic, and she's a mess too. So we go back to Halsey's apartment with her boyfriend. She's like, you want to come in? Dre is like, no, I don't want to come in. She's like, you really need to come in, because if you don't, like, my man is gonna think I'm effing around. So she was like, I will pay you. Which, that in itself is like, at first I couldn't understand. I'm like, it's like a cry for help. Like, she just need, it's like she wants to be around people. She's also clingy, but also she makes things bigger than what it is, because once we go into the house, you could clearly see, like, her boyfriend didn't even care that she was in the house. She was just like, he was like, who is this? And she's like, be hospitable. So from me seeing that, I'm like, you just wanted her to come in, possibly to see how the relationship is. It was just weird. I was just like, he didn't think you was cheating. Like, he just wanted his food. Like, I don't know what it's like she's delusional too. It's just weird. So she was like, bathroom. So she goes into the bathroom, and it looks like she's looking up some stuff, some tweets. They're arguing. He's talking about I wanted a single grain bowl, you ordered a double grain bowl. This is too much gluten, I'm gonna get sick. Like, I'm just like, girl, this is the most toxic relationship ever. So Dre sneaks up out of there. They're arguing. Then Dre goes somewhere else. I don't know where she goes, but she's like in a parking lot putting on makeup, and she's looking at Marissa's old YouTube videos of like how to do cut creases and things like that. So later in the night, she gets home and Halsey is in her crib. She's like, how did you get in? She was like, oh, I just told the clerk that we're best friends and he let me in. Which also lets me know, like, she's very slick. Like, it seems like she can get her way when it comes to certain things. She's very a smooth talker to like get her way. So she stays the night and she's like, I'm done with him. Like, do you need a roommate? And that's when I was like, that was the foreshadowing of her dropping her bag. It's like she's trying to cling to her because she wants basically a roommate. She wants to be around somebody else. She wants a roommate, and she probably feels like she'll be able to have that roommate with Dre / Carmen. And it also feels like she could see, like, I don't want to say she could take advantage of her, but like she can kind of talk her way into getting what she wants. So she's there, she's watching TV, she falls asleep, and Dre is like, what the hell? Like, how is she here? But what happens next? We find out that Naja is having twins. So this is the epic second drop. The first drop was when she dropped the festival. This episode, we get the announcement that Naja is having twins, and it instantly seemed like whenever Naja does a drop or we find out something epic about Naja, this is where it's the turning point for Dre to kind of like wall out. So Dre is like, her adrenaline is running, she's excited, and she just leaves. So now we back at Halsey's place, and her boyfriend is in the bathroom, and I think he was on his phone. Yeah, he was on his phone. He's in the bathroom, and we can just see the smoke. We hear spray and some smoke coming inside of the bathroom, and he's like, what the hell? He opens up the bathroom, and there is Dre with a free weight, and she like bashes his face in, and she does it multiple times. And I was like, is this, I don't know if it was like mace or tear gas, because she had like, it looked like not a gas mask, but maybe some type of face mask to kind of like cover her, so she doesn't get affected from the breathing. I don't know what type of mask. It looked like a gas mask, but I don't think it was that. I think it was like some type of mask, like a I don't know, for painters. It was something, but I wanted to know like what was the spray that she sprayed. I don't know what type of spray that was, but she bashes his face in. Then she's like dragging him out. She covered him in some plastic. She's dragging him out of the home, and blood is smearing all over the place. But at the same time, she's like crying while she's doing this. It's just she's crying. She takes him out the backyard, and then she starts laughing until she looks up and see that Halsey is actually there in the backyard with her, and she's stuck. She's like, doesn't know what to do. Halsey reacts in a different way that I thought she would react. She actually starts to kick her boyfriend, and she's like, F you, F you. So then Dre starts to kick her. Dre starts to kick the boyfriend. So they're kicking this dead body, and they're like getting excited. So I'm like, okay, it looks like Dre has met her match. Like they're both bonkers. Like it's like, it's weird. So she's like, I got a shovel. So Dre starts to shovel, dig up a ditch to put the body in, and Halsey is like making every scenario that she could think of. She's like, we could fly to Mexico. We could be the Black Thelma and Louise. Like we could like do whatever we want. She's like, I packed some sandwiches. I packed this. I packed his Glock. I packed all of this stuff. And she's like, can I see? So Dre stops shoveling. Dre's like, can I see? She's like, yeah, you can see anything. This is our stuff. So now instantly I'm like, I don't think that this is what Dre wants, because she's on a mission. She's trying to get to Reggie, and this is kind of getting in the way of that. So she's going through the bag. Halsey is going through all these other scenarios of like how much fun they're going to have, like just like how life is going to be. And then Dre gets up and she shoots Halsey. So she not only has one body, but she has two bodies now. Actually, she has three bodies, because we're looking at Khalid. So Halsey is dead. So from this interaction, the next night she goes to the club. She's dancing to the same song, which is called, I believe it's called Rain Don't Cry Like It Used To. First of all, that song is fire. I looked it up and I was like, this is like a mixture of like Prince with Solange with like a vibey trap style. Like this song is fire. And this time when she's dancing to it, she's very more sensual. She's dancing the way any type of stripper would dance. And it's like she got a boost of confidence after she does a kill. It's just very weird. It's like a nausea drop happens, she kills somebody, she gets a boost of confidence, and the cycle continues. It's just very weird. So she's making money now, and the OG Cheeks is like, hey Karma, you want to make some more money? She's like, I'm down. So she was like, all right, we need a designated driver. You're the designated driver. So they get in a car. Dre is like driving. I think she's also playing Naja in the car as well. So they back there talking just about little stuff. Cheeks is like, listen, don't take nothing less than a stack to sleep with you. This, and this. We are not having nobody's babies. We are not giving them none of our number. These are college baseball players, and we just here to have a good time and make some money. Carmen / Dre is like, how long we gonna be there? She's like, until these niggas got money. Like, she's like, until they don't have no more money. Like, that's what we here for. So they start talking about like guys and stuff like that, and the one girl is like, I don't know everybody's name because it really wasn't referenced, but she was like something about like, these guys don't have no purpose. And she's like, the one girl in the front is like, God's purpose is to pay our bills. And she was like, the other girl's like, damn, like, who hurt y'all bitches? Like, what is wrong with y'all? So they're asking Dre, they like, Dre, what you think about guys? Are they trash? Are they good? Like, what's your opinion? So she's like, her reaction is just like hilarious, because she's like almost like amazed that they're asking her this. And she's like, well, I think that guys are a waste and a woman needs no one. Like, she says this whole elaborate little phrase, but she ended on a Naja quote, and that's what the girl clocked her for in the back. She was like, you ended on a Naja quote. She was like, you're so weird. Like, they're just like, girl, you're weird. So we get to the party, and I don't want to say a typical college party, because I ain't never seen no stuff like this. I'm like, this is weird. So at the party, which you would think like the dancers would be naked, the guys are naked too. I'm like, this is weird. It's so weird. It's like the type of demographic mixed with like, it's just super weird. So it's guys running around naked. It's like the strippers. I feel like the strippers had on more clothes than the actual attendees of the party. So you can see like different things that's being done. It's a wild party, and it looks like Dre is just there to like watch the money and to drop the car. So you can see one of the strippers, she drops the wad of cash in the bag that's sitting by Dre. So Dre's just sitting there fully dressed, and she's like, I'ma head into a room. So she went to her room by herself. She's eating like pretzels and some dip. So she's in there eating, and a guy comes in, and he's like, oh, I didn't know anybody was in here. They're so bad. He's like, I got a girlfriend. I'm not trying to be bad. And then it twists. He's like, can I pay you to like jerk off? And she's like, how much? And he's like, $100. And she was like, $1,000. And he was like, okay. So he started taking out his money. She counts it. She was like, well, I'm still gonna eat. And he was like, okay. He's like, can I just start now? And she was like, yeah. So, well, she didn't even say nothing. She just was counting. So he's actually, this is so gross. She's eating and watching him, like just making eye contact, and he is getting the time of his life. And then we see Cheeks comes in, because she was watching from behind. She was like, I knew you was a freak. And then they leave. So they're driving off. They got their money. They're driving off. The one girl is talking about all the stuff that she was doing at the party. She like, Dre she's like, Carmen, put on some music, because I'm hot. I'm hyped. So they put on music. Everybody's vibing. And then they get a flat tire. So they're in the middle of the boondocks, okay? They get a flat tire. So they're like, what are we gonna do? Like, we need to get up out of here. They're like bashing Dre. They're like, you ain't good for nothing. I'm like, she drove y'all there. She can't help that she got a tire. I was just like, oh my god. It's just like true stripper culture of like just making another stripper feel bad about herself. I don't know. It's like, and when I say stripper culture, I'm like the dynamics. It's always like a hierarchy. If you watch P-Valley, you will always know like the new girl is always picked on. Not always, but like that's kind of like the dynamic of the scene in like television, at least, to kind of give drama. Because you also have to understand each scene, we need to have drama in each scene. There has to be some type of conflict in order to keep the story going. So they're like pissed at her. So they're like, do anybody know how to change a tire? She's like, this ain't 16 whatever. Yes. She's like, pop the trunk. Do you have an extra tire? So she tries to open up the trunk and Dre is like, no. She closes the trunk. They was like, Cheeks is like, damn, what, you got a dead body in there? And she laughs hysterically to the point where they're like, you are weird. Until a truck comes up. This truck comes up, a man gets out. He's like, ladies, I missed the part when a truck was coming up. Cheeks is like, ladies, do your thing. So they like doing poses as if like they were about to take a picture. She's like, we gonna die, do the other thing. So then they start to like pose sexy. I'm just like, what was that gonna do anyway? So he gets out the car and lo and behold, we see that it is Reggie, aka Tonk, in the flesh. And Dre is like, oh my god, you can see her face light up like, that's him. So he's like, ladies, what's going on? Like, y'all stranded? They like, yeah, we stranded. Like, we got a flat tire. And then the one girl's like, wait, don't I know you? He was like, oh, y'all the lure ladies. Oh yeah, okay. So she was like, he's like, I can fix your tire. He's like, actually, I live close. Like, I could take you back to my crib and fix it or whatever. So Dre's like, he like, who car is it? She's like, that's my car. That's my car. He's like, yeah, let's go back to your place. Like, she's hyped. So just from this scenario, he takes them back. He gives them a towel. He like, my mama, they was like, yeah, we'll pay you or whatever. He's like, no, my mama would kill me. You know, I'm gonna do this for free. So we already can see that he is not the same way as he was on the internet, which speaks volumes of how people tend to be on the internet. People tend to say mean things on the internet, but they would never say this in person, or they say mean things on the internet and they just forget about, like, they don't, it's just like for entertainment purposes, and they don't really even remember what they said. So he takes them back to the house. He like, ladies, y'all want some coffee? Like, he's very hospitable. He's not trying to do no creep stuff, even though I still felt like, incentive wise, like, yes, he was being kind, but I don't know, I still just felt like, you doing this for, I don't know, it was just like, probably be like, can I get a free dance one day? I don't know, it just felt still incentive. But he's being very hospitable. He's not doing no creep stuff. And the lady's like, oh, like, we don't want no coffee, but do you have such and such lemonade? Do you have like drinks? And he's like, okay, like, I'll just bring the bottle and we can get some cups, like, we can, you know, get it popping. So Dre stops him and was like, what's your favorite artist? And he's like, I don't know, like, I like that new Cody Blaze. And she was like, Cody Blaze? She was like, Cody Blaze? He's like, yeah, like, I'm really feeling that Toronto vibe. And I was like, okay, so Cody Blaze is supposed to be Drake. Like, we get it. So she was like, Cody Blaze? Cody Blaze only has 1 Grammy. Naja has 26. And he's like, okay. He was like, she was like, so why would you say if Naja didn't make a song or she died to, I forgot the quote, but she was like, why would you say if Naja stopped making songs today, I would put the quote up here, if Naja died tomorrow, I wouldn't be sad, or some shit like that. And he was like, I don't even remember saying this. And this is where like it comes to reality. Like having the people that be trolling on the internet, it's just like, it is weird, but it's also for entertainment purposes. I don't even think these people are really like this in real life. It's just like, it gives you some type of heart to say mean things on the internet. You can see like she's looking around. You can see he has a picture of his son. He has his own crib. Like he got his own company. Like it's just some dumb stuff that he said on the internet. This is not really a true reflection of who he is wholeheartedly, because he literally actually physically picked them up, took him to his crib, changed their tire. Like he's like, I don't think like somebody that really wanted somebody to die would do that, right? Not even that, but it's just like, it's just a reflection of how people are on the internet versus how they are in person, which I thought was something that was really good to display that. And so they're like, bitch, shut up. Like they're like, shut up, you messing up the vibe. Like the vibe is cool over here, and plus we saw he had a Bring It On DVD and they started singing Bird, It's Cold in Here. It must be so Taurus in that atmosphere. Ain't it Taurus? Whatever. But they like, you messing up the vibe, like chill. So she goes out while he's fixing the car, and he's like, oh hey, whatever. And he's like, where you from? And she's like, I'm from Houston. He's like, oh, okay, cool, I mess with Houston, I got some cousins out there. So he was like, so Dre was like, aren't you gonna ask me what my name is? And then we can hear the background noise, which is when, you know, it starts to get weird. She's like, he's like, okay, what's your name? She's like, Dre. He's like, okay. He was like, my sister is Marissa Jackson. He was like, oh, he was like, oh, okay, she out here too? She was like, she was like, no, she's dead. He was like, oh, okay. So then she goes back in, and then we can see that he fixed the car. Their ladies is all in the car. They're waiting for one girl to come back, because I guess she's talking to him or whatever in the house. And they're like, hurry up girl, come on, we gotta go. So Dre is in the car in the driver's seat, and she's contemplating like, this is my last chance. Like I can't leave here. I can't leave here. So she says like, I gotta pee. So they like, damn, we never gonna leave. So she goes back in the house. We can hear the shower running. So Dre goes inside, and it looks like he has like, the way his shower is, it's probably like, there's like a huge bathroom and then a vanity, and then like we can't see the shower, but we can kind of hear the water running. So she takes a spray, and I'm like, I don't know where she got the spray from. That's also like little loopholes of like, I don't know where. Also, how did he get back? I guess she drove there, but like, why would she go back to her place? I'm just like curious to know that. Like, did she follow Dre back to her place? That's just like very interesting. I don't know, that was weird too. But she's spraying whatever spray, I want to say mace, let's just call it mace. She's spraying mace because she thinks he's already in the shower, but he is in a robe and he's walking up behind her, and he's like, what is you doing? And she's like, she has the spray in one hand and a cast iron skillet in the other hand, and she bashes him on the head. I'm like, the fact that he did not fall out from there, I know he's a big guy, but I was like, damn. So she bashed him in the head, and they're like tussling, okay? They tussling. She's like crawling towards the shower, opening the shower door, and you can see that, you can hear that they're coughing because whatever she sprayed is starting to get into their lungs. He's a big guy, now she's like trying to get away, but he gets on top of her and he's like strangling her to the point where she's becoming unconscious. And this is where I was like, oh man, it's over for Dre. Like, what's about to happen? Until the ladies come in, the Lord ladies come in, and they bash his head with a bottle of liquor. So they bash him on the head, and then like they're tussling, and then one of the strippers, they actually shoot him. So they're freaking out. Dre is like, I think I'm gonna be sick, which, you're in the bathroom. If you was gonna be sick, you could have just threw up in the sink or the toilet, right? But she ran out, and they're so freaked out. They're like, what we gonna do? Like, we gotta clean this up. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, which, that's an honest like reaction of like, what are we gonna do? Like, yes, he was trying to kill her, but like, if we go to the cops, like, I don't, like, Cheeks is like, we could go to the cops, he was trying to rape her. And they're like, no, nobody gonna believe us. Like, I think we should make a run for it. So they like, bet, like, he's dead, clearly. They like, we're gonna make a run for it. So they like, get Carmen, we gonna leave. So they're running out, but Carmen pulls off and leaves them there. And I did not see Cheeks with her bag, which I believe all of the money, I don't know if they divided their money up, because I remember the bag that was sitting next to Naja, sorry, the bag that was sitting next to Carmen, all the girls were putting their money inside of there. And I feel like it was the bag that Cheeks had. It was the same color bag. But she did not have a bag when she ran up in their house the last time. So I feel like Dre got the money. And they like, shit, Carmen, what the fuck? So like, basically, Dre did what she needed to do. But now she got what? 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies. She got 4 bodies on her. And we see her, she's like off the side of the road. She's eating like some pizza or something, and she's on her phone and she's texting, and then she texts another phone, and it's, you can see that she's actually texting Marissa's phone. She's been like texting her this whole time, which I'm not gonna lie, I have texted someone that was dead before. I don't think that that's like it is weird, I'm not gonna lie, but I have texted someone who had passed away. But of course I couldn't respond, or I would never respond back, because that's like taking it a little bit far. Or even like keep somebody that a loved one, like save number in your phone even though you know they are deceased. Like, I have done that. So, and I believe I have texted someone. Yeah, I have texted someone who passed away. So I mean, it is weird, but like, when you grieving, you gonna grieve the way you grieve. But she has been texting Marissa's phone and then also responding with Marissa's phone, and that's where it's like, girl. So in the text she says, we're just getting started. She's like, I miss you and we're just getting started. And she texts back, I miss you too. And I think she said, we're just getting started. So I'm just like, girl, this is Dre. Anyway, that was the recap. I would say the opening scene for this second episode was by far the funnest. It was a very fun opening of her just being very awkward and funny, and I really believe like we are not supposed to take these characters seriously. Like, it's just fun, a fun character who's doing like very psychotic thing. Like, I don't even want to say psychotic, I'm trying to be like, because I don't even know her mental state of like, is she autistic? But I'm taking this from a writer's perspective. This is a actor and a writer's dream to like write a character like this, because you could do like fun stuff of like having her do contemporary jazz on a strip club. Like that's like fun writing. Like that's fun writing. So I'm looking at it from that stance. Yeah. And I really don't think we're supposed to take this show very seriously. That's the whole point. And like I said, I hope that people can like give this a try, so that we can have like different characters, especially of black women, not as seen as just representation, but like as an art form. Like, yeah. Anyway, but let me know if you watch episode 2 of Swarm, if you liked it, if you did not like it. I'm here for the ride of like having fun with this character and seeing the kind of like bizarre things that she's going to do. Yeah, I'm just interested in continuing to watch this series. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.